Good afternoon. I'm Jamie Mays. One person was killed in a car crash in Iroquois County. It's new at noon. It happened yesterday on County Road 1900 North and 500 East. Authorities say Christopher Benz failed to stop at a stop sign. He hit another car. The passenger in that car was taken to the hospital and died. Benz was also taken to the hospital. And police are investigating after a man was shot at a home in Champaign last night. He was taken to the hospital. This happened near the corner of Ridgewood and Dogwood Drives. We spoke with several people who live nearby who heard the shots and saw the man lying on the ground outside the house. No arrests have been made yet, and authorities did not release any suspect information. And last night, a Champaign-Urbana group called First Followers held a virtual meeting to talk about solutions to end gun violence in the area. More than 100 people joined in on that discussion. They say this is the exact type of violence they're hoping to turn people away from. This shooting makes 50 confirmed shots fired and shooting cases combined in Champaign so far this year. The Macon County coroner released the name of the woman killed in a car crash in Decatur Monday night. It happened at the intersection of Jasper and Condit Streets. Officers found two cars crashed at that intersection. 27-year-old Jamila Cunningham was pronounced dead at the hospital. The driver of the other car ran away. Officers are investigating. Crews are cleaning up the damage after a fire at a hog farm yesterday in Edgar County. The fire started at Christensen Farms just outside of Newman. Firefighters tried opening doors to let trapped pigs out, but workers told them those pigs would have to be euthanized if they touched the ground. This morning, the fire department was working to put out areas that are still smoking. Our reporter saw at least 5 pigs still wandering around the area, and a semi-truck loaded some of the pigs away. We spoke to someone yesterday who was near the scene when the fire started.
The smell of this hog farm being this close to town, like on a wet day, you can smell this for 10 miles. And with this fire here, the smell of burning wood and burning plastic, it kind of knocks that smell out.
The PR representative for Christensen Farms says they are figuring out if the pigs can be relocated or if they will need to be euthanized. This morning, the Illinois Pork Producers Association sent a statement out about the fire. It says, in part, we are thankful that no workers were harmed in a recent pig barn fire outside of Newton. Veterinarians have been on site to assess the pigs' needs and make sure that animal welfare remains the top priority. A pork plant in Rantoul with nearly 90 cases of COVID-19 is hiring. WCIA 3's Courtney Bunting has more.
88 COVID-19 cases have been confirmed at Rantoul Foods, but as an essential business, it remains open. The plant announced it's hiring this week. That's because 28 of the people with confirmed cases chose not to return to work after they were cleared. With operations at the plant back up to 80%, they need more workers. SafeWorks Medical Director Dr. David Fletcher is overseeing the COVID-19 testing process of employees. He says hiring will be done very carefully.
All employees who do get hired at Rantoul Foods are going to need to have a negative COVID-19 test before starting to work. They're going to have to follow the guidelines as far as wearing a mask at all time. There's some staggering as far as breaks and lunches.
All employees are being screened for symptoms every day.
The employees who are out there, feel comfortable that their employer is trying to protect them, and at the same time, put product out to the marketplace and feed America.
Reporting, I'm Courtney Bunting, WCIA 3, your local news leader.
About 55 people have been cleared and returned to work. 65% of the 700 employees have been tested. They're still working to test all of them. Looking at COVID-19 numbers across the state, 39 more people have died, bringing the death toll to more than 4,900. There were almost 1,200 new cases, which brings the total number of confirmed cases over 113,000 in Illinois. Republicans cried foul over an apparent pay raise for lawmakers tucked away inside the state's budget. But Democrats who wrote this year's budget say that automatic raise won't actually happen to show up on their paychecks. WCIA 3's Capitol Bureau Chief Mark Maxwell has more.
With the 2020 legislative session now largely behind us, Illinois Republicans are looking ahead to the November election, painting majority Democrats as a party so brazen, so callous, as to fatten their own wallets, while more than 1 million Illinois workers stand in the unemployment line.
The audacity for the legislature to accept a pay raise at this time in this history of the state.
Despite heated rhetoric and campaign-style posts on social media,
I do not think that legislators will in fact get a raise this year.
Lawmakers should not expect a bigger salary this year. That's according to Comptroller Susana Mendoza, whose office says we will not be paying them any more than they got paid last year. House Republican leader Jim Durkin wasn't convinced.
The Democrats in the House and the Senate found a way to slip into this bill a legislative pay raise because we have not proactively banned the COLA.
That's the way lawmakers used to freeze their pay, but in recent legal fights, courts have found the COLA, or cost of living adjustment, is protected in the state constitution.
It is a legal obligation on behalf of the comptroller. So congratulations, we're getting a pay raise.
That's precisely why Democrats say they took a different route in this year's budget.
If you listen to what a judge has said, that's an unconstitutional step. So what we chose to do instead was not provide money for the budget, which drives the decision of the comptroller.
Instead of removing the COLA, they put a zero next to it.
There is no funding in this budget for a pay increase for legislators.
The controller who writes the paychecks has assured us that she will not be paying any increase in the salary based on the appropriation we passed.
So long as Comptroller Mendoza doesn't actually cut the check, then no, Illinois lawmakers do not actually get a real pay increase. For that to happen, a lawmaker would have to take that fight to court and convince a judge that in fact they were entitled to a pay increase, when so many lawmakers said on the record during the budget crafting process they didn't want one. Reporting in Springfield, Mark Maxwell.
The first paychecks from the new budget year go out in July. A spokesman for the comptroller assured lawmakers would not get a pay raise because there is no appropriation for a cost of living allowance for the members of the General Assembly. One company has advice for businesses getting ready to open. Illinois American Water is reminding them to flush their pipes to maintain the quality of their water. Businesses should run water through each of the fixtures for at least a couple of minutes, and all toilets should be flushed twice.
We want to make sure as they're taking steps to reopen that they look towards their internal plumbing system. So if a business, a facility has been closed for some time, there is stagnant water in that system. If a building has remained dormant, it's important to flush that water out, that old water out, and bring fresh water into the system.
If a building has been inactive, it can cause problems inside the pipes. Now, Jack, it was really nice this morning as I was coming into the station. Is it going to stay that way for the rest of the week?
Well, Jamie,